Two drunk assholes talking about whatever comes to mind. We present Filler with Jack Fike and Rob Harper. Filler is Jack and my insane rambling. This episode, we look at the fall television shows, with mostly the superhero shows, because that's what we like watching. Please do note that we are extremely drunk during these recordings, so if we do sound like unintelligent fools, just forgive us.
So, this is a filler.
You can't start out with filler. You just say, hey, this is filler. So what do you want to talk about?
We should talk about the TV shows. We haven't watched Arrow for the new season yet. Our opinions.
Oh, well.
Anyways, yes. So what do you want to start with? Your shows you want? Because then you can talk about Gotham.
I build on Gotham.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
I haven't watched the last one.
I didn't. The commercial saying Age of Villains or whatever. I'm like, what was the first season? If this season's going to be the Age of Villains,
it was it was about Commissioner Gordon.
The show in general.
The whole show's about Gotham itself. First one was Commissioner Gordon coming back into town, and you learned through him because he was an outsider, and you find out how sketchy everything is. And this season apparently is starting. Everyone's raving about, and everyone's saying it's finding its footing and stuff, and I agree to a degree, but
for some reason you just fell off.
Yeah, spoilers, they killed off a character that in a stupid way, and it was like the final straw for me.
I've been there for shows.
I was watching, going, okay, well, there's so much potential in some of these things. Some of the stuff's but there's so much potential in a couple of the characters, and then there was like, gotta get rid of one.
Too much money? Too much money?
No, she was a bit character.
Oh, they didn't like it.
I don't know, because they basically needed a mallet to hit you over the head as to why that this guy's not a good guy anymore. And it was like, that they had chemistry. Like, I could see maybe in another season having this happen, but they were just building to the Riddler having a normal life but still being a little off.
And then he just turned evil.
It was such a foolish.
Yeah, I understand.
So I'm not a Gotham expert.
Have you been watching S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No.
S.H.I.E.L.D.'s good. It's alright. It's one of those things where if you don't like the characters, there's no reason to watch it. That's the reason to watch it. The story's alright. There's not much story. That's the problem. All S.H.I.E.L.D's always had that problem. There's not crazy amounts of story. So, but it's about characters, and it's fun. And I like the characters, so that's the important part.
I liked the characters. I liked almost everyone on the show to some extent, but I just not enough time.
Yeah. And then there's Flash, Green Arrow. And then Flash this season, we were like so excited because it was going to be him in the multiverse, but then it never happened.
And I was disappointed. Yes.
But then instead, the multiverse just came to him,
which now I am back on the Flash train. It took one episode of me going, oh, what?
Yeah.
I got robbed. But then,
yeah, it's been really good.
Flash, I have suspicions who Zoom is.
Yeah.
And why? But I'm enjoying the writing quite a bit. I like Harrison Wells' return, and I like his lines.
I like when Cisco is like, our Harrison Wells was have you seen the latest episode?
Yes.
And he's like, our Harrison Wells might have been a homicidal maniac, but you're just a dick. I was like, that's
funny. And I like when Wells goes, and your boyfriend Rodney? And she says, it was Ronnie? Yeah, him too.
Really?
That's how he described someone who just died 2 months earlier.
And anytime someone new comes in, he's like, what'd I do to them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks. Good point, Crisco.
Crisco, yeah, you call him Crisco.
So I like the writing. I like the dynamic. They've really got a good thing going, and
yeah,
I
like it a lot too. And they show King Shark. Yeah. What more do you want?
And
I like the female cop. She's good.
Patty Spivot?
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently she's in the comics, but not like a big role. Some writers have given her, but I like the actress. I think
and she plays awkward with Barry very well.
Her and Grant Gustin have a lot of chemistry and I'm glad she's good looking. I'm not gonna, it's CW. They couldn't put an ugly girl on there. But she's not like traditionally gorgeous, and she doesn't have like a banging body, and she's not like, oh my god, no, you look and go, she would be someone.
Yeah, she could be a cop. Like, she's not ridiculous.
She's someone who obviously she's smart enough, and apparently she got degrees, but became a cop because tragedy in her life, and she wants to find metahumans. Okay, I can entirely viable.
And I'm glad Barry's not obsessing over Iris all the time.
Yeah, that was terrible. I think you don't want a Felicity that
Yeah,
Sitch.
exactly. Yeah, and yeah, is there anything else? Flash? I don't so. That's fun. Flash for the Earth 2 Flash was alright. It's fun. I wish he had his powers. It's kind of weird that he doesn't have his powers, but I guess that's the...
I have my suspicions as to why he does powers.
And yeah, and both shows are setting up the return of all these dead characters so that they can all be back for Heroes of Tomorrow.
Which is nice. It's a theme through both shows that...
Because they brought Cold back and kind of redeemed him a bit. So he's not a total bad guy. So when he comes on the show, he's not a total bad guy.
He wasn't always... I always liked the way he gets played by that actor, and I liked the way he's written. At no point was he just like, I'm a bad guy.
No, just out for himself.
Some characters, you can just make him, okay, he's a bad guy, he does bad things.
And I really like his sister's character, too. It was some character you shouldn't like, but she plays him really well. Like, she's a really good actress. Because hers and Cisco's relationship is kind of fun. And
yeah, where she's predatory, but he knows it and still likes it.
yeah. And she's playing with him, but is she playing with him? Does she actually like him? Like,
yeah.
It's fun. And, yeah.
Yeah,
the good thing about Flash 2 is they've had new villains, but they've been like, okay, they're just Earth 2 villains, so you don't have to... Although he's become a homicidal maniac, but the Flash, he's just murdering people.
Yeah. At first I thought, okay, well, does he think they're monsters? Before he understood Earth 2, I thought... Because something killed someone and took their form by an outsider. Like, it wasn't. It was Atom Smasher found his Earth 1 counterpart and killed him before he could get powers and took his...
But the Flash just killed him.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, I wonder if he's thinking, okay, it's some sort of doppelganger or some sort of monster or something. And I'm like, okay, yeah. The first one you would kill.
And then who was the second one? I can't remember.
A sand demon. He turned him to glass and shattered him.
Yeah, he might not be dead, though, because I think there's extra sand kicking around. And...
Could be, but at that point, they knew about Earth 2.
Oh, yeah. He murdered him for no reason.
So then I was like, come Barry, no, these are people. They're just from another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
if you're not from Earth 1, you're not a person. He's a dimensionist.
Yes.
And, yeah, Dr. Light was neat to see.
Yep, I like the character. I like the fact that not every metahuman that Zoom sends over immediately goes, oh, I got to do his bidding.
Yeah, she was trying to find a way out.
She wanted to get a big heist under her belt, get some money, and disappear, and not be involved in those tomfoolery hijinks.
And then she was like, well, I'll just take over the personality here.
Which I understood why, because she could then just...
disappear into them.
Oh, yeah, I'm Linda Park, I'm this person here, and you know what?
Do you know anything about sports?
Yeah, I quit, I'm just going to go. And then she has all the identification, all the stuff, and she can just go to Tempe, Arizona, and be...
be Dr. Lightish. But, who else? That's pretty much all the villains, right? But, yeah. I like the concept, and I like it's just kind of fun going along. We'll see where it goes. And I do like the fact that they're dealing with all the repercussions from last season. I like the new new Firestorm. I think he was introduced really well.
Yeah, I liked that episode where they showed
like it was obvious where it was going, but it was still good getting there.
Yeah, you knew who was going to get chosen because
they showed him
story,
and they showed him when it hit. Like they showed his backstory where they never showed the other guy's backstory.
Oh yeah.
So it's like it's obviously it's going to be him, but
I thought
they could have made it where it's like, oh, who is it going to be? They could have done it, but they didn't care. They were like, we know you know who it's going to be. So
enjoy the ride of this other guy.
Yeah.
Showing that you could be a member of academia and you can be the perfect surface candidate, but also just be a big
asshole,
raging asshole, and not fit to have that power.
Yeah.
Or a good guy who
doesn't have to be
down on his luck would be better suited.
Yeah, it was good. And then I think that's all Flash. And then Arrow. Last season we thought it was going to be terrible.
I almost didn't start watching this season.
And then they cleaned it up. And sure, Ollie and Felicity have a relationship, but they don't knock you over the head with it.
No.
At the beginning, that first episode, I was like, oh my god, if it's going to be like this, it's going to be terrible. And then they were like, no, first episode, sweep.
It was a spoof. I could tell right away. They had the hey, I cooked you breakfast. Oh, that breakfast tastes bad. Yeah. You're a bad, like they went almost like sitcom relationship. And I was like, okay, I'm in. Because they knew what they did wrong. They knew they were poking fun at themselves. And then all of a sudden it was like, hey, you know what? This really does suck. We got to change. Both in the show and like in the writer's room. And they acknowledged, this
they
sucked.
raided the ship,
And they turned course. And for the first couple episodes, I hoped Felicity was the one in that grave.
Yeah, now it's just like, oh.
I have suspicions there.
I have suspicions there, too. But we'll see what happens. And,
we're not going to document our...
Do you want to start saying what we think? I don't know. Because the problem is we're probably right, and then that'll ruin it.
For who? The 6 people that listen to the show,
Each other.
or for each other?
It might ruin it for each other.
If we're both on the same page, then how's it ruining it for anyone?
But if we have 2 different ideas, and one of us is, well, I guess it doesn't matter. It's only if you believe.
This isn't Christmas morning. It's not a gift
Okay,
to be
well,
on
I think that it's Tommy in the grave. I think Tommy's coming back.
Really?
I think that's why Raj knew about the pit and bringing dead people back, how bad it was, because I think he brought Tommy back.
And Arrow had to kill him?
No, eventually Arrow's going to have to kill him in the future. Yeah. But I think Raj has Tommy, raving maniac, and then he's going to find out, oh, they figured out a way to get Laurel, or, what's her name?
The White Canary?
Yeah, whatever.
Katie Lotz.
Katie. No, but what's her name on, not real name, what's her name on the show?
Oh, it's Laurel Lance and,
I can't remember her first name. Yeah. Anyways, Ross is going to Sarah, and he's going to hear that, oh, they got her soul back. Now I can get Tommy's soul back. But he's going to do it in not a John Constantine way. He's going to do it in some evil way. And I think Tommy's going to be still crazy, causing trouble.
That's a good theory, because with Malcolm Merlyn being Ra's al Ghul, and
yeah.
I
wouldn't put it past him. That's all. He's done pretty shady stuff.
Yeah,
so.
And he seemed pretty, this hasn't been done in a long time. He was pretty forthcoming.
But
that's not Malcolm Merlyn. He wouldn't be there.
But he was trying to tell them still don't do it, because I've done it and it doesn't work right. But he didn't want to say I've done it, because then Arrow, or they'd both be like, especially Laurel would be like, oh, who'd you bring back then? Like, who would he bring back other than his daughter? It would be his son, right? So. And then, so I think it might be Tommy. And then that would make sense, because then it's not any of the main characters, but it's someone he still cares about.
I think it's...
And then he's going to be pissed at the person he's going to kill at the end. I'm going to kill him is Merlyn for bringing Tommy back. Because I can't see Damien Dark being a major villain for the whole 23 episodes. I think they're going to deal with him like halfway through something. I like the actor, but he doesn't seem enough. Who do you think is going to the grave?
Captain Lance.
It could be Captain Lance. And then he could be going after Dark, because Dark would have killed him.
His story arc right now is he's
done something bad, so now he's got to be punished.
Yeah, and there's no Ramsay Snow in this universe.
Yeah.
he was a party to the latest mayor being killed, Mayor 3. He was a party to like a different
I can see that for sure.
And he's still in balls deep into that, and he knows he's doing wrong, and he knows.
And he obviously has a heart condition, and he's definitely on the edge.
I'm guessing.
I can see that. And who was it that walked up to him?
Flash walked up to him and said, "I'm sorry, I couldn't save him."
Okay. Yeah. Did he say him? I don't remember what he said exactly.
Oh yeah, well.
Because at the time I was thinking, because it must not have said gender, because we thought it was Felicity or his sister.
Yeah.
I hope it's not his sister, because I really like Speedy.
Yeah.
And she's once again, she's grown into her character a lot. Like, she's really well.
I really like the part. Willa Holland is a good actress, and I'm sure some people are missing the nuances of it, but she seemed like on the edge and like wild and crazy. And then all of a sudden she's not, and she's normal, and it's
because every time she lets out her rage, it's like she's like the Hulk.
She can play it in such a way, and they haven't really. No one said, "Hey, how come you liked hanging off the open doors of a speeding transport truck, and were giddy with delight at one time, and now you're here and you just want to sit and read a book on the couch." Is that because you've killed 2 people in Nanda Parbat and now you've released...
Well, they kind of implied it that when she...
But it's been nice and subtle.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people are missing it going, oh, that's just, can't write a consistent character. But if you just watch...
she's definitely, she's messed up.
And she's going to start again. And I know she'll play it right, where at first it's just like, oh, well, she's a little hot-tempered today.
Yeah. All of a sudden she'll start getting angry and angry and angry.
And then you as the audience will know and go, someone's going to have to die.
Yeah. And... Constantine's, his little thing was great. I like how he was in the flashback, too. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. You guessed a long time ago that he was going to be the one who's going to bring back her soul.
Yeah.
And then, you thought he resurrected, but then they used Lazarus Pit, and then he came and finished off the job. But I like him back on the island, too. It's interesting. Because that implies that there's some magic stuff going back there, too. And that's going to tie in with Dark in the future.
It was very well done flashback compared to last season, in which the flashbacks were just awful.
Well, it's because he has no longer that mullet. His hair's fixed.
Wigs aside, I think last season's flashbacks were terrible at the best of times.
That was the
Katana and the husband.
Yeah, they weren't great.
No,
it didn't go anywhere. It was just like, okay, this one it seems like it's gonna go somewhere. They're setting up a lot in the back.
The flashbacks last year, they put a lot of weight on and a lot of time and energy and for literally nothing.
Mm-hmm. This one is just quick, little thing.
But it means so much more.
Yeah, and that girl's gonna come back into it. The one that he killed.
They keep just calling her worker woman.
Yeah, she doesn't have a name, yeah.
But when I first saw her, I think Santana. They're bringing magic.
Could be.
This is before I knew Constantine was in the flashback.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, he's gonna meet someone. He mentioned magic.
Mm-hmm.
This dark-haired woman who might be a little older than you.
Or yeah,
Santana.
I'm sure there's other characters. Madame Mask or some, or she's Marvel. What's the one that's there's another evil magic female.
They've done
I can't remember.
Good job of pulling obscure.
Yeah, it could
be molding it to this. So I don't know. I keep.
She is going to be something because they haven't given her a name. They haven't let anything on who she is. And why was she stealing stuff? Like she knew that it was like if she was just some stupid worker, she would never have stolen something.
She'd have been submissive.
Yeah, she's definitely working something. Either she's working for Waller too, like she got sent in first or something.
Got captured and just pretended, I'm just some girl, and just blended in.
And she's working it, or because I don't think Ollie never told her that why he.
So at some point,
she thinks he's just some rich guy who has a heart. Like he's not as evil as he pretends to be right now.
Or that he was on the island, the whole thing, and this girl's still waiting. Like I told Waller, I need backup.
Yeah,
like
she doesn't know. Yeah,
where the hell there just should be a guy dropping.
And then she's gonna find out. She's like, really, you sent this guy as my backup?
You do know that he watched someone get executed. Yeah, I know.
Well, Waller wouldn't care about that.
No, but like her character would be like this is how you operate. But yeah. But their Arrow is shaping up. I'm glad that the ghosts are a villain, but not.
They're just like
they set them up
almost.
They set them up, and then now they don't have to show every armed robbery, everything. You mention it. Oh yeah, they're the henchmen. It's not a.
And I like how Ollie's running for office, because that happened in the comics too. And it makes sense. Like, if his mother, who killed half the city, was able to run for mayor, Oliver, who really hasn't done anything bad, he's just a rich playboy, he's probably got a good chance. And there's nobody running against him, so...
And he's not been able to protect the mayors thus far, but he certainly can protect himself. So at the very worst, it would be there as like his own bait for any tomfoolery that happens, and he would decide.
But you don't. I think Dark 100% knows that Ollie's the Arrow. Like I think that's not. It's not going to be. He'll come out and be like, "Oh, you thought you were drawing me out? I know you're the Arrow." I don't think he'll make it public because that would really screw the show up. But
yeah.
And it's neat how they made him the Green Arrow now, and they played off that Roy was the Arrow in the first, like, that's what the people think, so now, no, I'm a new Arrow. That's funny, you have the exact same build as the old Arrow, even though Roy was like a foot shorter than you.
But the Damien Dark hiring that woman and hiring that guy with that tore the cards off his body and stuff, that was an interesting way to bring in a character like a monster of the week type, but also bring Diggle's storyline into it. And I know they can't do Suicide Squad anything anymore, which ruined last season. That's almost now people. It was my theory a year ago.
They've confirmed it with the King Shark thing. They said we're not allowed to use Suicide Squad, but this is our one last hurrah by doing King Shark.
This one last FU. But it was it was painfully obvious they had written a season with a certain arc last year, and mid-season Warner Brothers said, "Oh, you can't use any of those characters anymore. In fact, you have to."
Write them off.
Get rid of them all. And the show suffered so terribly. See,
once they stopped using Suicide Squad, they should have brought in Checkmark or Checkmate or one of the other groups. They should have done it maybe they still will, but that'd be cool to start seeing Checkmate Knights around.
That or Amanda Waller still isn't part of Suicide Squad. They're still allowed to use her apparently.
Yeah, Argus and all that stuff.
So maybe instead of, I don't know, get a whole other group of villains that aren't officially Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't even know if they're allowed to use the concept.
Because it was bad the way they did it.
Or just do good guys, like they make a good guy one.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is the Suicide Squad on the show was shaping up to be way better than what the movie looks like. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the problem. The movie is New 52 Suicide Squad. The show is old school Suicide Squad.
The New 52 Suicide Squad is still better than the movie Suicide Squad that they're showing.
I don't know. They're both pretty crappy. But, yeah.
Have you seen Assault on Arkham yet?
No, that's the show. That's the movie. I'm talking comic.
Yeah, but have you seen that?
No, I won't. You told me not to watch it, so I didn't watch it.
It's...
But you think the movie's going to be worse than that?
I think the movie is going to be worse than that.
But, yeah. So, yeah. Arrow is going to be... We'll see how it goes. I can't see it a whole season just...
Damien Dark?
Yeah. Like, I don't know what more they're going to do.
Well, Anarchy's still running around, so...
Oh, yeah, Anarchy.
The big villain... Flash and Arrow have always done a mid-villain and a big villain.
Mm-hmm.
The big villain I know is going to be Vandal Savage.
And then it's going to tie into Heroes of Tomorrow?
Yes. Both Flash and Arrow are going to have Vandal Savage on within the next couple weeks.
So that that's the setup, because Heroes of Tomorrow starts in January, so that's coming up pretty quick.
Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah.
So there's
3 months. It's 1 month. We're mid-November.
November, December, January.
No, November is halfway. Well, no, November and December, and then January.
Well, if it was just January 1st, then yes, I would
it's
agree.
early January, so
okay, 2.5 months.
If that.
We'll split that.
We'll see when they actually... Anyways, it's coming up quick. And, yeah, and that's why they're setting up all the heroes, like Ray's coming back. And
so
I like how Ray's like, I need help. Why didn't you listen to this, like, when I sent it the first thing, you asshole? It's been months.
Ditzy broad.
I knew I should have sent it to,
letting your emotions,
It was terrible.
And I like Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great new character.
I like his thing.
And I like how they just keep seeding things. Oh, he's just really smart. And all of a sudden, oh no, I won a bronze medal in Olympics. It's like, oh.
Because she goes, oh, bronze, you're a bronze, whatever.
Anyway, Beijing Olympics.
Yeah, thinking, it was intramural sports in like star cities. No, he was an Olympic athlete, but he's also very smart.
Yeah, I think they're setting him up to be fun.
And I like the actor. I like the dynamic they have, and I like the direction they're going. And when he first walked on the screen, I looked at him. Oh God, no. It just didn't work for me, and he's won me over. That actor's won me over.
Well, he's her Felicity. Like,
yeah,
like that's the best part.
Her character arc, her character's grown and opened up that spot, and he's gonna slip into that spot, and they really I like where they're going with him.
So for Heroes Tomorrow, they still have to introduce Hawkwoman, but I don't know if they're saving that for the show.
She's already been introduced.
Hawkwoman?
Crisco's dating her.
Oh, is that Hawkwoman?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was her.
Yeah.
I knew she was. I thought she'd somebody. I didn't know that was who that was.
That's Hawkgirl.
Oh, okay, so that makes sense. She's weird looking.
Not traditionally beautiful, but
because I knew she was. I thought she was more of an Amazon or something. Because she was like, "Hey, I'm new in town," and like,
yeah, there's a lot of metahumans around.
And it's funny that she's a metahuman, and so is Cisco. Because I thought that Cisco playing off was pretty funny. But I didn't know that was Hawkwoman. Okay, that makes some sense.
I don't know what her backstory is going to be. That will be revealed pretty soon.
God knows that Hawkman and Hawkgirl had the weirdest backstories ever.
Pretty convoluted. Yeah.
So it could be any of them. They could be aliens. They could be Egyptologists. There could be they had so many different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And who else is on that team? That's it, right? Then Rip Hunter, but I assume he's going to be the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I think that if they really wanted to do it up right, Rip Hunter, the first episode, will be collecting them as
showing and introducing himself.
Hey, I'm Rip Hunter. Here's my soliloquy. Here's my
backstory.
Exposition on.
The thing is, he doesn't have a backstory. Nobody really knows his backstory. He's just a guy who time travels and knows everything. He's got the secrets. He's Doctor Who, really. Rip Hunter is Doctor Who. Which is neat that they're using one of his companions as the character.
Rory.
So I think that's a nice nod.
Yeah.
Who else is on the team? It's Captain Cold.
Heatwave.
Hawkgirl.
Atom.
White Canary. The Atom. Is that it?
Firestorm.
Oh yeah, Firestorm. New Firestorm.
So six people.
Yeah, so that's it, right? There's nobody else to introduce. So it's just Ray is the last one they got to bring in.
Yeah, and it's interesting that
that'll be a few episode arc to get Ray back. I assume he's lost in the small or something, right?
I don't know. My first thought was like, obviously, if you're tiny, it's going to be a detriment to get around. But he's able to fly. Like, I would like to see a montage of how he spent this time. Like in my mind,
he's actually in the lab the whole time, but it's like the whole world.
And like, I would like to see like some scenes that you've already seen shot, but like from a desk, and him like, hey everybody. But then him also like sitting on the edge of like a monitor, eating like a crumb of donut that's
something
left
that Mr. Terrific dropped. Yeah,
and he's like working on something, like trying
to make himself big, but he's just like
so minuscule. And then maybe watch him knock over a test tube. You don't use test tubes
or that fight scene that happened in there with the card guy.
Yeah,
he'll witness that.
And him like, oh my God, look out behind you!
There could have been parts where we didn't even notice, where it's like, oh yeah, that thing fell, and that helped him, and we didn't even think about it.
I would like to, I don't know if they would do that, but I would like to think that he's been kicking around that lab for all these months trying to work on this, that, and the other thing, and
he's like, who's this guy who's moved in? Wasn't he? Because you must have known him. He probably hired him.
So I could see,
and I'm glad they stayed away from, with Felicity, that whole boardroom stuff. It's just like, no, I'm in charge. We're gonna build something that's gonna be great, and
it had potential. I enjoyed how she was getting steamrolled at first, and then she was feisty, but the world isn't always just like a plucky young woman can take over a corporation, and like I wanted to see her get a smackdown by the board.
But it's good that right when she has to deliver the thing, that's when Ray's going to show up. So they'll be like, well, what do you have to deliver? And she'll be like, me? And Ray will walk in. They're like, oh, okay. He's back in charge.
Hey, Mr. Palmer.
Yeah, we can't control him. We know.
But it was so, it seemed so, like, socially aware, like, a young woman, like Felicity walked in the boardroom, took her bray off, spun around, and threw it up in the air, Mary Tyler Moore style, and the board was like, hey, yeah, well, no, that makes all the sense in the world. No shareholders can argue with that. No accountants. Hey, you, what do you do? Well, I do the finances, and we're hemorrhaging money. Did you see that? She came in here and she had an attitude.
It was more like, you got to do something, otherwise we're screwed.
So they gave her an ultimatum. They stood by it, said, okay, you have something that you're working on. Well, yeah, he's got this. Okay, you have until the next shareholders meeting. That's when you lose control.
Yeah. And by then Ray will be back, so it'll be fine.
Or Mr. Terrific will have something or something.
He'll bring something out, yeah.
She's gambling. But I'm glad they didn't just...
Yeah. And, yeah. And the other superhero show is Supergirl. You watched the pilot.
I watched the pilot when it got leaked.
But you haven't watched the show? It's not, I don't think we're the demographic for that show.
Speaking of plucky young women who apparently...
But a lot of, like, I keep hearing from women, like, this is the best. Like, a lot of females seem to like the show. I think that's their target audience.
There's some stunt casting with a black Jimmy Olsen, and I'm not racist in the least, but it is. I watched the first pilot.
Yeah, but it's the Jimmy Olsen from the movie, isn't it? It's not stunt casting on the show. It's stunt casting from the movie. They're using characters from the Man of Steel.
Is it the same actor?
I think so. I think it is all the same people. Because even what's his name's in it.
I don't know if it is the same actor, because the movie was terrible. And
I don't remember, but it is. There is an actor from the movie in the show. I know that, and he's making only like guest appearance kind of. So there is stunt casting going, like, but it's from the movies. They're really tying Supergirl to the Man of Steel universe.
Yeah,
they're trying to do an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, there's some stunt casting. There's some pretty. The special effects were good. The fight scenes were done more than adequately.
It just seemed cheesy to me. Is it cheesy? Like, is it as cheesy as it seems?
I might give the second episode a whirl.
Because it seems like it's trying to be more than Flash or Arrow, but it seems like it is just Flash or Arrow. But Flash Arrow knows what they are. This seems like it wants to be more because it's on real network, right?
I'll go so far as to say the first Flash set up a world, set up everything and it was hit the ground running, no pun intended. And was like, okay, bam, that was done right. Supergirl took the same formula, and I mean almost literally did the same thing beat for beat throughout it, and was far inferior.
I think it's because
from,
it is tied to the movies.
Right from, hey, I'm unaware. I know I'm a superhero to a degree, but I don't have any powers yet because it's just awakened in me. To, oh, there's a threat. To, I gotta fight him. To, and probably you could play both shows simultaneously,
beat, yeah.
and it would look like the same. And it was
because the
a
supervillains,
pale comparison.
The supervillains they keep showing are like, yeah, they look like Flash supervillains, and that works in Flash. But they're trying to make Supergirl to be in the same universe as Man of Steel, which is like super serious. And I think maybe it's a tone issue. The show is the wrong tone to what they want it to be. If they played it off to be just another Flash or Arrow, I think I'd be more interested. But they're trying to be more like the movie, which I'm not interested.
I will give the second show I'll give the second episode a run. The only problem was I saw Constantine on Arrow, and I liked the character, and now I have to go watch a season of Constantine.
And Constantine on Arrow was far inferior to the show. The show was way better than what he showed on there. There he was a little cheesy.
He said one or two times too many.
Yeah.
And he seemed a little, but
it was almost like a cartoon version of
the show version?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the show it's still the same character and he still plays him like that, but it's much more dark. It's a pretty dark show. And it's worth it because the show, the season doesn't wrap anything up, but it doesn't feel like, oh, there's a big cliffhanger and
then all of a sudden, gone.
They kind of, I think by the end they knew that it wasn't going to happen, so it's only like 13 episodes or something. Definitely worth checking out.
So I'm gonna get in on that, and
it's worth it because it's over and it's quick and it's done. So.
And maybe Supergirl I will pound through when there's like I like the actress.
She is pretty.
She was one of the ones from The Fappening.
I know.
Yeah.
And she's done a lot of movies, so she's all right. They in the pilot they do play a little bit with her good looks. They give her glasses so she's ugly.
Oh, through the whole thing, yeah. Her Clark Kent persona. And you know what? When I watched it, there was something bothering me, but I would like to see her dressed up like her character, like that works at the newspaper, and say Donner's Christopher Reeve. I'd like to see them side by side. The glasses are kind of the same.
That's who they went after.
I bet you that if you would did a picture side by side, they'd even have kind of facial features that were the same. Like I was watching it and I'm going,
it's like his daughter.
Yeah, like it's very, very similar.
They definitely were paying homage to the.
Yes,
But that's the same with the movie. They did that too. Once again, to its detriment.
But just her casting. But then at one point they do a montage of her trying out different costumes because she has to become Supergirl, and
because Superman is in that universe, right? She's seen him.
She knows of him.
Did that whole thing in Metropolis happen where the whole planet got destroyed?
They don't.
Is she in Metropolis?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. This Jimmy Olsen comes from Metropolis and works at this newspaper, and this is how I got my job. Is I took a picture of Superman flying, and I got a Pulitzer for this picture and stuff. And then he confides in her. Oh yeah, well, Superman actually posed for it, and it wasn't. But he was just doing me a solid. And she was okay. Goes and my to pay him back, I've come here to look after you. And I'm like,
oh, because Superman knows that she's his cousin or whatever.
Yeah.
It seems weird in that Superman movies. It seems weird that all of a sudden there's someone else from Krypton. Like in the comics, at least it was many years later they came. This is like, I'm here, and all of a sudden, oh, there's also this other girl.
The backstory being that they launched Superman, they launched Kal-El, and then they went, oh my God, we can't just send a baby down there. Who knows what's going to happen? We're going to send this 12-year-old girl or something. Like,
oh, so she was actually older than Superman.
They get sent, but when Krypton exploded, her ship went into the neutral zone.
Or negative, yeah.
Negative zone or whatever it is.
No, it's neutral zone, I think, right?
No, isn't that where, between Romulans and Klingons?
Yeah, but I think it's also there.
Oh, okay.
Or is it? No, Phantom Zone.
Phantom Zone. And the ship, when it passed through it, time is a differential.
Screwed her up.
So by the time she got to Earth to look after this little baby, the baby had already been a full-grown man.
I see.
And so
that kind of makes sense, then, that she's older. That's interesting.
So she was older, now she's not. And then she got raised by people just like Clark Kent was, but she had a sister.
It's like what would you call it? Stepsister, not stepsister.
Yeah.
Non-blood sister.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. It doesn't interest me in the least, so I probably won't watch it. And, yeah.
The first one to watch, The Leak, I why not? I had the time, and I did. I can see potential.
Yeah.
If I'm going to hop onto another show, I would go back to Gotham
Before you watch.
before I would start in there.
That's the problem. There's just too many shows.
Well, there's a little recap of fall superhero shows, and stay tuned for next time where we talk about the elephant in the room. Can you guess what show we haven't talked about yet? Come on back now.
You know what's better than all those movies like The Avengers, or Iron Man, or Man of Steel, or Dark Knight Rises? You know what's better than all that?
The porn parodies that were released shortly after them.
And
And
Vinland Old Time Radio. You know why?
because today's youth want old-timey radio productions, variety shows via a podcast format.
Because the budget of the imagination is unlimited.
That. I'm going to trademark that. Trademark. Is that how trademarks work? You just blurt it out?
I think so.
Okay.
VinlandOldTimeRadio.podbean.com. Come for the funny. Stay for the alcohol.
And the budget of the imagination.